So first of all, I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker for this evening, Matt, Region 2.
Well, here we are. My name is Matt. I'm a compulsive overeater. I have 8 years of abstinence, and I'm down 160 pounds from my top weight. Sorry, I have to time myself. I came to a World Service Business Conference about four years ago. This is my 4th business conference. And when I came 4 years ago, I had about 4 years of abstinence. And for me, the way I looked at my program was, it's about the steps, it's about the steps, it's about the steps. And as far as service went, I was all about the service. But as far as fellowship, it was like, I'm not here to socialize. I'm here to get well, I'm here to recover, and I'm here to go on with my life and do what I'm supposed to do. And then I came to the World Service, sorry. And then I came to the World Service Business Conference. And what I saw was people taking themselves seriously. I saw people taking Overeaters Anonymous seriously. Because they got better, because they worked the program, and because they're of service. And for some reason for me, I saw this, and I started to give myself the permission to take myself seriously. I had people who encouraged me to go to the mic. I remember not knowing what the hell was going on, and literally like just not knowing what was going on, and sitting there, and I was here on Mary Rose's last year, and it was, I don't know, I think she was maybe on bylaws, but I just remember she was up at the mics a lot. But she was serious. Like, you could tell, like, she had a purpose for herself. She had a purpose for the fellowship. She had a purpose with why she was saying what she was saying, and she believed in it. And yeah, like, there were pros and there were cons, but she believed in what she believed in for the fellowship. And she didn't apologize for it. And I remember thinking, like, for the first time for me in my recovery, that, like, I aspire to that. To have a vision for the Fellowship of Overeaters Anonymous, to have a vision for something that has saved my life. Not only saved my life, but it has given me a life. It has allowed me to stop and ask myself, what do I want? Who do I want to be? And what do I want to do? Why? Because I'm not compulsively overeating anymore. Why? Because I can look in the mirror and I can say, you are Matt. This is you. You are who you are. And at the end of the conference, and I found out later that Mary Rose gave buttons out to a lot of people, but the world revolves around me, so I thought I was the only person she had ever given a button to. But it was at the end of the business conference, and she was on the end, and she told me to come over to her. And so my first conference, I didn't really have a lot of opinions. I just had a lot of questions. And she gave me this button, and it was black and in white lettering. It said, "More will be revealed." And for me in my recovery, that was also the year that, I saw people up here on the stand, and I mean, it's like they're up here above everybody else, so there's that idea like they're somebody, or like, they're up here, like. And so I didn't want to be intimidated by anyone in Overeaters Anonymous. And so I said, I'm going to make a point to get to know them. And I remember sitting there, and during the literature, here's an amazing thing of recovery. I actually can remember things. And I remember when they happened and how they happened and the details. And I was at the literature Q&A, and afterwards I was sitting there reading something, trying to understand something I didn't understand. And I think I asked Joe a question about it. I can't remember if he knew the answer or not, but he said, "I'm going to tell you something." Yes. He goes, I think I have a resentment against you. And he says, because you are young and you speak very well. And what it was here's someone with more time in the program with me. He's older than me. He's up here above everyone else, and he was willing to come up and make himself with me. He was willing to put himself at my level with me and to connect with me and to open up and to share something that made him human. And I got to have those experiences with a lot of people here at the conference. And one thing I beat myself up for every year is because every year it seems to get higher, more and more, where I kind of come with more opinions. And I voice them more and more. And I find myself always sitting there beating myself up. Why do I care so much? Why do I care so much? That's what goes through my head. Why do I care about this? I'm here with a bunch of majority older women, and I am so passionate about this stuff. And then I get on the elevator and I hear, you are so cute and we just love your passion. I'm just yes, well. And it hit me because when I was getting ready tonight, I have my parents and I have my brothers and they're my family and I love them, and I have my girlfriend and I love her, and my passion and my belief in this fellowship, it genuinely comes, it's because I love you guys so much. No one in the world understands me the way you guys do. I have found a vulnerability and an intimacy with this fellowship at World Service Business Conference that I had never found anywhere else. And the passion that I have, it comes for the belief in the fellowship. It comes from my belief that we're going somewhere. And the point is we're right where we need to be. We're doing everything right. It's ironic, the name of the conference is The Miracle of Abstinence. Look to the person next to you. The miracle of abstinence is each and every one of you. We should not be alive. These policies and these motions and these pros and cons and this, let's try to get past the center mic so we can ask our question. It's hard for me to get past the center mic a lot of times. So that's why I'm usually always on a pro or con side, just so I can get up there. I came into Overeaters Anonymous 8 years ago, and I called the contact number on the phone list. And that is an important job. Make sure it's someone who's willing to answer it. And I called, and I had just moved to Los Angeles, and I was binging everywhere. I couldn't find a job. I'm over 300 pounds, and no one in LA is going to hire me. I went into a job. I was in such a bad place. I had some free housing through my school because I was willing to help out with this internship program, and I was okay, this gives me an opportunity to find a job in LA and to move out there. I had just graduated college, and that's what I'm going to do. So I moved out there. My free housing is ending. Nothing's working out the way I want it to. I'm compulsively overeating. I would pay $10 for parking at this one area so that I could go up onto their strip mall and then eat at every single place. I was using the last amount of my credit cards for food because I could not deal with the unmanageability and the powerlessness I was feeling. I didn't know where I was going to live. I didn't know what sort of job I was going to have. So all I was concerned about was just not feeling. I just didn't want to feel it because I didn't know what I was going to do or where I was going to go. Because I knew I had told my parents at 18, I said, I'm never coming back to live here. I just want you to know that. I'm leaving for college. I will come home and I will visit, but I will never live here again. And between trying to find a job and, I was in such a bad place that I went into one job interview and I started crying. And I was like, LA's been really hard on me, man. I didn't get that job. And I called the contact person on the list. And I said, hi, my name's Matt. I'm going to come to that meeting, but do I need to bring anything? I don't know what I'm going to bring, but I asked her if I needed to bring anything, like pencil and paper. I don't know what I thought I needed to bring. And she said, and she was an older woman. But that's my point. She was an older woman, and it didn't matter. I needed the program. I needed to get better. And she said, you don't need to bring anything. Just bring yourself and know that you are giving yourself the greatest gift you could ever give yourself. And what occurred to me was, I was like, first of all, that's kind of haughty to say, this is, how do you know it's the greatest gift I'm going to give myself? But if someone's willing to tell me that, then there must be something there. There was a confidence to that, a trust in the 12 steps, a trust in that meeting, a trust that I'm giving myself the greatest gift I could ever give myself. And I went to that meeting, and I sat there in the basement of this dingy place in Culver City, and I sat there, and I didn't know what was going on. I still don't remember my first meeting. I don't remember my second meeting. They say find someone who has what you want and ask them how they did it. So I found a skinny guy. I was like, you can sponsor me. My compulsive overeating looked like my dad's an alcoholic, and he stopped drinking, but he never really worked a program. So he was the kind of dry drunk that you just wish he'd start drinking again. My mom was the untreated Al-Anon. They both started going to Al-Anon meetings, and then when they moved, the Al-Anons just didn't know how to do it right in the next town they moved to. So they both stopped going to meetings. I'm the middle child. My older brother's 6 years older than me. He was very much like a father to me. He's very abusive. My dad yelled a lot. If I had a question, I was just kind of in the way, just kind of a bother. And my younger brother, 2 years younger than me, he struggles with alcoholism. And I said, I'm never going to be like them. I am never, ever going to be like them. Meantime, I'm hiding cake behind the toilet when I hear my mom coming up the stairs. In the meantime, I'm 10 years old and I'm already fat and I don't know what I'm supposed to look like. So I'm, for whatever reason, thinking, let me look online at pornography because maybe that'll tell me what I'm supposed to look like. Maybe at 10 years old, that's another thing I was eating over, was I was doing these things that I felt so ashamed about. I didn't really have anyone that I could talk to about it. And on top of that, I don't look like other guys because I'm compulsively overeating. And then in high school, between my junior and senior year, I decided I was going to lose the weight. Paid for a personal trainer. I was exercising 3 hours a day. If I was going to eat a bad food, I'd put it in my mouth. I would taste it, and then I'd spit it out. So I was chewing and spitting food out. I've had the experience of eating out of the trash. And I exercised and white-knuckled my way down to a healthy body weight. Went back to school after the summer, and everybody wanted to dance with me at homecoming. Got a girlfriend. Some girl I had asked out the year before to a dance who said no. So I had a girlfriend. And then when I went off to college and my brother went to a mental institution and like stuff was going on, I was going off to college. I went to college and I just ballooned. I just ate. I ate my way through my 4 years of college, and I don't remember any of it, guys. I don't remember it. I don't remember times of my life because of my compulsive overeating. That is the reality for me of this disease. There is sexual abuse in my history. That's just an idea of how bad it is on the surface. But the humiliation that one can put on oneself when every day you wake up and today I'm going to do it differently. Today I'm going to do it differently. Today. And then you mess up and then you're like, well, messed up today. It's not that I'm a loser. It's that I'm not strong enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not well enough to keep myself thin and attractive and good looking. Who's going to want this? It does something to your manhood when you're so big you can't see your own privates. Let's be really honest. The Young Persons Committee, my sponsor said it'd be okay if I put my opinions out there a little bit, so I'm going to put it out there a little bit. The Young Persons Committee submitted a book on body image, sexuality, and relationships. The book needs to get made. The fellowship needs it. I need it. The one thing I can say is that anything I believe in for this fellowship, anything that I ask for, anything that I encourage our committees to work on, it's because these are things that I need for me. And God bless you, because it also means you get to deal with my craziness as we go through it. But this is the one thing you all taught me is like they said to me in my first meeting, they're like, we will love you until you can love yourself. They told me they would love me until I could love myself. And I'll be honest with you, I still struggle with it so much. I have 8 years of absence. I work the steps. I sponsor. I go to World Service Business Conference, and I'm still not enough. Because at the end of the day, I have to go home with me. At the end of the day, I put my head on my pillow. And my sponsor was working the steps with me, and I got to my 4th step. I was blessed with the kind of sponsorship that I don't know if you see very much anymore. I was blessed with a sponsor at the time. He was out of work, so he had a lot of time to give me. And we had phone meetings 2 times a week. And he took me through the big book. And he was a hardcore Catholic, so there's a little bit of that in there. It just is work the steps. And I love the big book. I think it's one of the most God-inspired books that ever was made. Because it taught me about the nature of my disease, the disease in my head. It taught me how to see and hear what the disease looks and sounds like so that I can identify it for myself, so I can identify it when I hear my sponsee talking, when they want to find any way to weave around how they're going to compulsively overeat or act out. Or when I call my sponsor and he's like, well, does that sound like a loving thought? This shit ain't easy, but the rewards are pretty amazing. So for me, working the steps looked like I lost the weight really fast. I was cold. I was tired a lot. There is a physical withdrawal. And here's the thing, we talk about the newcomer. And then we talk about the person in relapse. And we talk about just the membership, the compulsive overeater. We are addicts. The newcomer is an addict. The member in relapse is an addict. We have to want this if it's going to work. My sponsor said, I will work with you as long as you are willing and teachable. That's what he said to me. As long as you are willing and teachable, I will work with you. That's what he told me, and I'm in there at 22. I was the youngest person in there. And that's what he said to me. He didn't say, we'll take it a little bit at a time. He said, as long as you are willing and teachable, I will work with you. You all saved my life. And the frustration that you see from me here at World Service Business Conference, that you will see from me at Intergroup, that you will see from me at meetings, is there's this idea that we're doing something wrong. How can we reach the membership retention? Where are the members going? We have to reach out to the newcomer and get them. We help those who want it, and we let them know that it's available. When a sponsee doesn't want to do the work, or when a sponsee can't stay abstinent, I ask them, how am I helping you? And they either get it or they don't. And I don't fire people because they leave. They choose to leave. We're not the lucky ones. We're the ones who choose to work the program. And don't get me wrong, there's a part of me that I think feels guilty every day that I get to walk around looking the way I do and being thin because I don't believe it myself. And I feel fraudulent every day. But we're miracles. It's the steps. It's the fellowship. It's the people who have come before me, who have shared with me honestly what the steps have done for them. It's the people who have shared with me honestly what it's like when things are hard. I've been through a lot in my 8 years of being abstinent. And trust me, I know people who have a lot more time than me, have a lot more, my life is my life. So to me, my life's been hard being abstinent. So what I've had to deal with has been my stuff to deal with. And part of me being abstinent, part of my recovery is accepting that life isn't fair. And that for me, the gift of recovery is that I get to learn how to carry myself as a man with dignity and grace. And let me tell you, I don't do it very often. But I try to. I'm willing to learn. Oh my God, I'm willing to let Janice and Bob talk to me. And I'm like, so how do I do this better? And I wrote tone on my hand. And I carried around a note for the past couple of days that said tone because I know I have a tone of voice when I'm trying to make a point. So I'm just trying to make amends to everybody right now. I've sponsored a lot of men over the course of my time and over the 8 years, and they don't get very far. Honestly, I don't think I'm a great sponsor. But I try, and I try to share my experience and keep it at that. Can't tell anyone what to do, just share my experience. And I had a sponsee who worked the steps. He was 50 years old, he was in his 50s, maybe he was even 60. And he went through the steps, he did his 4th step, heard his story, made his amends. He was of service to the fellowship. He lived at home. He took care of his mom. And he was lonely. He never really felt like he connected with the fellowship. He was kind of awkward. But he was lonely. Share my experience with him. But, he wanted somebody. I expressed, you have to want to reach out to people too and find out about them, see how they're doing. And then I reached a point where I stopped working with him. And this past year, a couple months after I stopped working with him, He killed himself. I never thought I'd go through a time in recovery when I didn't want to go to a meeting. And I really blamed OA for it. And there was mental illness involved. He had gone off his meds, and he made a decision. And I had a choice. I could compulsively overeat, or I could go to a meeting, or I could go to my intergroup meeting. And when the board chair said, Jerry passed away, and I was like, well, what are we going to tell the fellowship? What are we going to tell them at the delegates meeting? What are we going to say? And she goes, we can't say anything. I'm like, what do you mean we can't say anything? What do you mean we can't let the fellowship know that what happened? What do you mean we can't? She's mad. And I was upset. And they gave me the dignity of asking, like, they just said, what do you want? They just asked me, they just said, what do you need? And that's all I needed. I just need to know that someone got it. That they saw me. I just wanted to be seen because I was in pain and it hurt. And I didn't get it. And I called Janice and talked to Janice about it. I continued to answer emails about young people's. I continued to just do what I knew what worked. And I'm still abstinent. I came out with a deeper understanding that I get to make choices in my life. And that my choices have a direct result on my choices do directly affect me. My sponsor said to me when I just wanted my sponsors just to tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do. I don't want to be responsible for anything. Just tell me what to do, Bruce, please. He goes, Matt, let's open up the big book. And he took me to the part in the beginning. The main purpose of this book is to enable you to find a power greater than yourself that can solve your problems. I even needed someone to give me permission to have a higher power. I even needed someone to give me permission to start to believe in myself. So the way the steps work for me is step 1, I did a food inventory. Step 2, came to believe in a power greater than myself. I came to believe in this group who was recovering and who had been very large and they had lost weight and people maintaining a healthy body weight. I believed in the love of the group. I believed in the power of the fellowship. I believed in the power of the steps as seen through you. That is how I started to believe in a power greater than myself. Step 3, made a decision, turned my will and my life over to the care of God as I understood God. I didn't start to do that until I did step 4. How do I know if I'm really willing? It's when I'm willing to sit there and look at myself. So before I could even do an inventory, I had to call my sponsor up. And you know what? Thank God my sponsor had recovery in another program. He had a recovery in one of the sex programs because I needed to tell him a lot of things before I could even get into it. And he understood. And it was okay. These are things we don't talk about in OA. I needed to talk about it. I did my inventory, and one of the things that I did in my inventory was, especially with my sex inventory, I wrote what my weight was next to everything. So I got to see how my weight fluctuated through different experiences I had in my life. I got to see a direct correlation between my compulsive overeating and my coping and the things I went through. Step 5, before he would go into Mass, for church, we would go down to Santa Monica, and we would sit outside, and I would read my 4th step to him before he'd go into Mass. And everyone would always know I'd done my 4th step or my 5th step, because like I'd have sunburn just like all over my face every week. And it took me like a good month, 2 months to read my inventory to him. And when I did my inventory, it looked like me. I would go sit at a coffee shop and I would write till it hurt. And I'd stop. And then I'd go walk around the mall, and I'd sit down somewhere and I'd write some more. And I'd go here and I would walk around, and then I'd sit and I would write some more. And then steps 6 and 7, did like a hash mark of all my character defects. It's kind of simple, I gotta say 6 and 7, I was like, this is a little easy, but I feel like I'm going back and working those steps again all the time. But so step 9, I went home to visit my family. I decided to be fully self-supporting. Made sure I paid for my airplane ticket. I paid for a rental car. I stayed with my grandmother. And my parents are lovely people. They are crazy, but they are lovely people. The way my sponsor did was I had to write it out. I wrote each amends letter out. He goes, you're not going to do this alone, and you're not going to go there thinking you're going to just say whatever you want to say. So I wrote it out and I read it to him. He's like, nope, rewrite that one. Nope, he's like, just like in the meetings, he told me, when you're in a meeting, 1 minute on the problem, 2 minutes on the solution. When you share at a meeting, 1 minute on the problem, 2 minutes on the solution. And we can live and die in our food plans here, guys. And keeping 1 minute on the problem, 2 minutes on the solution, I don't talk about the food that much. So I went home with these letters to make amends to my family, and read it to my mom, and then so I'm holding that piece of paper, and I read it to my mom, and she's like, thank you, Matt. Like, she thought it was cute because she knew what was going on. Like, he's making his OA amends, you know. And then she's like, can I keep the letter? I'm like, no, you can't keep the letter. Oh, she'd be whipping that shit out any day and be like... I made amends to my little brother, and he was all over the place, but he was like, I get it. I get what you're doing. And he did. My dad, when I made amends to him, he said, I'm sorry for being an alcoholic. And I said, Dad, that's not something you have to apologize for because it's not your fault. And then for my older brother, he wasn't living at home or anything, and I couldn't find him anywhere, and I was trying to find him. And I called him, I was like, Chris, I'm going to be getting on my flight soon. If you could just meet me at the airport. And I found, he did. He came to the airport eventually, like almost before my flight was going to take off. He's coked out of his mind. And I read him the letter, and I saw his eyes, and I saw his face, and I let him keep the letter because it was the right thing to do, because I don't know what he remembered. And for me, what the spiritual experience looked like, for me, the first spiritual experience I experienced in Overeaters Anonymous looked like when I was on the plane and I'm coming back, and I got a window seat, and I could see the Grand Canyon. I have 5 minutes left. Or a little less. Karen. So I see the Grand Canyon, and I'm sitting there, and I can't explain it in any other way, but that the thought occurred, like there was a thought that occurred to me, like a thought that was me, but it was not me, but it was me. And it said, Matt, you done good. That's all it said. All it said was, Matt, you done good. And if I could pinpoint any time in which my mind, a pinpointed point at which I felt I started to have a psychic change as a result of working the steps of Overeaters Anonymous, that was it. I am so grateful. I am so grateful for Overeaters Anonymous. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. I am so grateful for my abstinence. My sponsor told me, he said, every day you abstain, every meal you abstain is a spiritual experience. For the first time in my life, I am genuinely excited about my life. Because I'm realizing that it's a choice. I can choose to take on what happens, and I get to choose how I'm going to look at it. For example, as I was getting feedback from Bob, and sorry, Bob, I'm calling him out a lot. He goes, you have a lot to learn. And he's absolutely right. And that's the thing is, if I respect you, I can take it from you. I could, and he's right. And then also the thought occurred to me, I was like, well, maybe they have a lot to learn too. But that's what anonymity is to me. It's the equality of this fellowship. You are me, and I am you, and we're both individuals, and we are all special, and we all have a point to be here. And I'm saying all this because this is the stuff I fight against every day. I am scared to be 31 and 8 years abstinent. That is scary. It's also sad because now I don't qualify as a young person. And the age range was my suggestion. So you all are patient with me. You all are kind with me. You all are honest towards me. You all show me unconditional love. You all are teaching me how to love myself. You teach me how to laugh. You teach me how to cry. You teach me how to be me. You teach me how to find a higher power. You teach me how to be strong, how to have an open mind. You teach me how to just be who I am. I appreciate every one of you. I love every one of you. And I pray that God blesses you all with abstinence and that we're able to go out there and make a true difference for Overeaters Anonymous. Because we are miracles. And more than anything, I feel like our job is just to go out there and just let people know they are too. Thank you for letting me share.